in terms of technology facilitated gender-based violence is something that actually refers to violence and harassment or abuse that is perpetrated against individuals based on their gender. So it's mostly like gendered aspect using the online platforms, and specifically I may talk about is violence that happens with women and girls on social media platforms. And this is this situation in Fiji is now increasing and it's common, and perhaps becomes an alarming issue for us as well, because the most issues, I would just basically touch on what we receive and based on the facts that we receive. And this is in terms of revenge porn, if you have heard about this. And we term this as image-based abuse at Online Safety Commission, but basically this is like revenge porn. So issues that arise between a man and woman, that is husband and wife. So most issues that we receive is domestic issues that is relevant to what happens or goes online basically. So if I may give an example, like revenge porn that is very common and increasing, and this for instance goes to like an increase in distance relationships. And this is what we have found out, that there's like distance relationship, and what happens is they tend to share explicit photos with each other or videos, and then when there is like an issue between the partners, or when they part their ways, this is where one of the partner starts to threaten the other partner, and so this is form of revenge porn. So the other partner starts to take revenge from this one, and this is increasing in Fiji, and we have seen that a lot of cases have been reported, and the perpetrators are known, and when we ask them who, it tends to be like the partners or the ex-partners. It's not like someone who's like totally a stranger. So this is an alarming issue, because it's not coming from a stranger, it's coming from within the house, or within the family.
Exactly. So it links up with, coming back to Shamima, your point about gender-based violence. The majority of that, the perpetrator is known to the victim.
Yes. Known to the victim, and most of them, we hardly get cases. We do get cases where it's a stranger and she doesn't even know. So it's also things like somebody asking someone always for a date, and she refuses. So so they indulge in doxing, putting up all her information about how she's available for sex and things like that.
If you can explain doxing for viewers, please.
They'll do it better. But it's about when you, so if you like a girl and she doesn't like you, or even if there's a broken relationship and she doesn't want you anymore, the revenge porn kind of thing. So then he starts putting up all her whereabouts, contact details and everything up there, and then people that she's available for a meeting, sexual encounters and so on. And then she starts getting calls from various men saying, when shall we meet, and and then she's quite shocked that this is happening. So that's quite common, becoming quite common now, and they use the like fake IDs and so on, the people who are doing it.
You have received many cases?
Yes, where they're increasing now, and they're increasing now.
We have also gotten some cases regarding that. There's like certain groups on social media platforms that's actually having a lot of advertisements on that. Yeah. And it's like private platforms, so that's something that doesn't have a control over. Because if we get one removed, there will be others creating more.
Yes.
I'll come back to Savanatha. You talked about that initial case, and you said, okay, we can go into the archives or we can just discuss it here on how the authorities approached it. Now, in this case, the university students were vulnerable, and you said these were powerful individuals.
Yes, influential
people.
Yes.
How did the case get finalized? Were people taken to task?
Yes. Actually, they were put into prison. That was one of our first successful prosecuted case. The individual were put into prison.
How difficult was it?
Back then, it was like straightforward, because we have we kind of have the the tools to run the investigation.
What I'm asking about, if they were influential people,
Yes.
were they trying to use their influence to further
Yes.
threaten the victims or try to stop the investigation?
They were further threaten the victims. They were when it was found out, when it was exposed, then they were going back using the images to go and threaten the victims that we will expose this, we'll send this to your parents, family members, to stop the victims from complaining or giving a statement. So those are the.
That was new to the cybercrime
It was
unit.
new. It was new.
What were the challenges you faced at the time, knowing that it was something new, and you said it was formally recognized in 2008?
Yes.
You had that vacuum as well,
Yes.
and that things were new.
Yes, the challenges were the laws. Laws back then doesn't have specifically for computer generated images and all this. The laws were mostly for physical documentation. Covers that as documentation, and the other one was the impact that it has on the victim. That is one of the challenges that we had then, was to convince the victim to be able to open up and produce statements or give their statements. So the mindset of the victims, officers were not ready to ask the right questions and get the right answers from the victim. So it was challenging both sides, from the victim to understand that we need to report this, we need to say this and all the other aspect of it, and the officers to receive this. Having seen the images, how does one react to the images, and then ask that this is a criminal matter, and ask the follow-up questions. So it was new, it was very challenging, but eventually we were able to, with guidance of the senior officers back then, we were able to successfully prosecute those cases.
Now, Tadeshwari, just for Online Safety Commission, so the new law came into place. What is the process now? Now, knowing that in 2006 we didn't have a law that was specific, then government came in and brought the law to Parliament, and we still have increasing cases. Can you explain how is Online Safety Commission dealing with these issues, knowing that the law is in place now?
So in terms of the generic approach, I would say, not specific to technology facilitated gender-based violence, but the Online Safety Commission does receive complaints with regards to cyberbullying, image-based abuse, internet trolling, and cyber stalking. So these are the jurisdictions covered in our Act. And based on that, there are offences as well under sections 24 and 25. So 24 would say causing harm to individuals by posting electronic communication, and electronic communication would mean anything like social media platforms, emails, and any form of electronic communication. So whether the individual has intention to cause harm or threatens or has actually caused harm, those are covered under section 24 of the Online Safety Act. So this would mean cyberbullying related issues, internet trolling, and cyber stalking. And there is another section which covers, section 25 covers sharing of intimate visual recordings or intimate pictures. So this would be actually not just sharing, but even if you threaten to share a picture or video of a person. So these are the two sections covered in our Act. However, I may say that the Online Safety Commission does not have powers to prosecute in the court, but the fact that we have signed Memorandum of Understanding with Fiji Police Force, thus proper initial assessment is taken by the Online Safety Commission, and then a formal referral is given to the Fiji Police Force for them to initially investigate and prosecute matters to the court.